What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us here today on the Budget BBQer, and today I'm going to show you how to make over-the-top chili. Let's check it out. Alright, so over-the-top chili is growing in popularity, and we've all seen it and heard about it, but how do we do it right? I'm going to show you here today. Alright, so we've got our basket about 80% full. Then over here we've got our charcoal chimney, which I've got about half full. We're going to start this first, and then when we add it to the basket here and put that into the smoker, it's going to slowly work its way around cooking through. We'll put a couple of wood lumps on top, and that's going to take care of it for us. Okay, now while the coals get going, we're going to go ahead and get our vegetables started. So I've got one whole sweet onion, I've got 2 serrano peppers, and I've got 1 medium-sized jalapeno pepper. I've got about a teaspoon or so of minced garlic, and then I've got about 2 tablespoons of beef tallow. Now if you don't have any beef tallow handy, you could also just use butter. So we're going to saute this while our coals are coming up to temperature and the smoker is warming up. Now while our vegetables are sauteing, we're going to get the now hot coals added into the coal basket and put into the smoker. I'm going to add a couple of hickory chunks on top. Put on the heat deflector plate and return the grate in the low position. Now we're going to leave it wide open with the vent open until we've got a good amount of smoke billowing out. Right now it's pretty light. Now as you can see, we got a good amount of charcoal smoke coming out of there, so we're going to go ahead and shut it down and let it come to temperature. I'm still going to keep the vent and the smoke tube wide open. Alright, we have been intermittently stirring the vegetables while we've been getting everything else going. And you can see the edges are starting to turn brown and the onions are starting to look a little glassy. So these are done. Alright, now we're going to start our chili stock. First, we're going to put our sauteed veggies right in. If you saute them first, it starts to release and mix their flavors and it makes them really punch through. Now we'll add a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 2 cans of chili beans with sauce, and between 8 and 16 ounces of beef broth. Now add 2 bay leaves and 2 tablespoons of my chili seasoning. Check the description below for the recipe. Now we're going to put the chili pot into the smoker while we get the meat ready. For the meat, I'm going to use about 2.5 pounds of 80/20 ground beef. Mix that meat into a loaf. Now we're going to flatten that loaf down in our skillet that we cooked the vegetables in with the beef tallow. You don't want the beef patty to be any thicker than 1.5 or 2 inches, otherwise it's going to take too long to cook through. Now sprinkle it with the chili seasoning. Now I'm going to put a baking rack that I use in my smokers over the top of the chili. And we're going to set our meat patty right on top of that. Remember, it doesn't have to be pretty. This thing's going to get mashed up into our chili after it smokes for a while. Now close it up, and we're going to lower down our vents so that we can dial in our temperature. So we're going to watch it for the first while until we get the temperature at about 300 to 325 degrees, where we're going to cook for 3 to 4 hours. All right, checking the temperature on our meat. We are about 155, 156, and the edges are coming in about 160 to 165. So now we're going to go ahead and add the meat into the pot, and we're going to let that continue to simmer. All right, we're going to break the meat up inside the chili and let those flavors begin to blend as it continues to simmer. All right, we let it simmer for another 2 hours at 200 to 225 degrees. Now, let's see how it looks. All right, it's got a beautiful red color and it is thickened up nicely. Now we're going to close down all of our vents to save any remaining coals that we don't need to burn off, and we're going to let this rest for 15 minutes. Let's give it a try. That is some amazing chili. The smoky meat flavor, it all just comes together. And that seasoning blend with those sauteed vegetables, this is outstanding. Thanks again for joining us here today on the Budget BBQer. Now I hope that you've enjoyed this recipe for over-the-top chili. I'm telling you, it's gonna knock your socks off. Once again, thank you for liking and subscribing to our channel. Please join us next time, and we look forward to seeing you then.